Are you also wearing sweatpants and a button down?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Mine say Hufflepuff.
Fuck yeah, man.
Hey, I'm Finn, and today I wanted to talk about Will Wood. I am pretty sick right now, so I'm sorry if I sound a bit nasally, but I'm gonna do my best. So after my normal album review, a lot of people were asking for reviews of his other albums, and I saw that my normal album was my best performing video, and it might make you think, why not? And you've probably seen comments on that video if you were there after the original big kind of boom, that say I don't want to do another one because it would feel cash grabby and I'd feel kind of bad. Even though I did really love these albums and I would have loved to talk about them, in fact I talked about them a lot with my friends, maybe a bit too much. Do you guys want to talk about Will Wood?
Jesus
Shut the fuck up
Christ.
about Will Wood. You do not want to hear about Will Wood.
times are you
gonna ask, motherfucker?
None of us want to hear about Will Wood anymore.
I hate you. I hope you die. I hate you. Stop it. I will kill.
I guess not. I felt I might not be able to bring anything new to the table. I mean, unlike the normal album, these albums have been out for years, at least 5, so what could I bring to the table? So I made myself a promise. I was not going to touch his other albums, and I was not going to do another Will Wood video until he dropped a new album, or unless I found something new to bring to the table, something exciting, something different. And I found something. So yeah, that was a crazy meeting, honestly. Thank you so much, Mr. Will Wood, for coming onto my humble little YouTube channel. It meant the world to me. It was absolutely insane meeting you. I should probably stop with the flattery now, though. But if you want the full unedited interview, that is going to be linked in the bio below. However, that will be part of this video, a more edited down version from an hour to 30 minutes. And you can find the parts of this video right here. We're going to start off with a review of Everything's a Lot and move on to Selfish, and then we're going to focus on something a bit more meta and a more retrospective of his music. And then we're going to finish off with the interview. And something I didn't do last time that I'd like to just quickly do this time. Shout out to the rest of the Tapeworms, man. I mean, Mike Bodeligiri, I think that's how you pronounce it, Vader Boris, and Matt Berger? I'm sorry, I'm really not trying to mess up your names, but it's very hard to find people pronouncing it out loud. But yeah, those three really talented. I mean, they bring a lot to the Will Wood table. They really help bring out that style that he does in that really unique way he goes about everything. Really talented people. And I'd like to give a bit of special attention to Mario Conti. That was my best guess at pronouncing your name. I'm sorry, Mario. But seriously, Mario never looks like he's at all bored. Every time you see him behind a drum set, he is having the time of his life. Whether it's his YouTube videos or the Real Will Wood recordings back for the Real Will Wood movie, he is having a fucking blast, and it is so fun watching him go at it. Even just in his little videos, he does like little gags and stuff. Really good stuff, man. Go check out Mario Conti's music channel. That's linked in the description. So yeah, Everything is a Lot. Everything is a Lot debuted as Will Wood's first album back in 2015, at least his first released album. And it is consisting of 13 songs, however 14 in the remaster. This is because the last song, Everything is a Lot, was split in 2, which we can get into later. This song features the most of his softer stuff, similar stylings to Well Better Than the Alternative if you've heard the normal album, or Self or Ish in the sort of gentler, less chaotic sort of Will Wood. So, if you just heard that, you're probably sitting back thinking, holy shit, that went crazy, oh my god. Yeah, I did too. 6 Up 5-0 Cop Out, Pro/Con, is one of my favorites of the album easily. The snazzy stylings and the jazz that manages to mix in with this sort of puts this scene in my head, and as far as the theme goes, I'm pretty sure it's Will Wood saying ACAB back in the early days of 2015. that seems pretty much what it is. It's got references to police brutality, being pulled over, stuff like that. But yeah, just a really good song. Easily a banger. Hey, do you want to get sad?
They say the beauty's just can't leave. So when the stairs you resurrected me from my bones, bones, bones. Let me see your bones. Well, I don't wanna know if the feeling follows on. Bones, bones, bones. Hell, Lord, Lord. If I come home, baby, will you show me your bones, bones, bones?
This little entry is the first intro to Will Wood's softer stuff that we're gonna get. And God, is this effective. I mean, there is, aside from Well Better Than the Alternative, there are few Will Wood songs that are gonna cap this one in terms of raw emotion. And it really hits you. The way the music swells up and his voice manages to swell up without getting louder is so full of passion. And it really feels like this is a confession. It feels like Will Wood is just so direct with the audience in this one, and it feels so passionate, like there's so much heart in it. And I love it, and it makes me so sad. It's about a 3-day period in 2011 at the end when he didn't eat. In some interviews, he has said it's not about eating disorders per se, but about his issues with his body image at that time. And now for the most morally ambiguous bop of all time. So Front Street is interesting, and I can't really get into too much about it because I'm on YouTube, but I guess I can say, okay, rap doesn't mean rap when I'm talking about this. It refers to some sort of sexual thing, a crime that can happen, that I'm not gonna say out loud because YouTube doesn't like the word. The song serves as a criticism of rap culture, and date rap, namely. Some lines really hint at this and stand out, like the last ones. But there's a lot of other references to date rap and how these shitty frat houses kind of perpetuate this culture and how they become these cesspits of horrible, horrible people doing horrible things. But the beat goes crazy. It's just when you listen to it, it gets a bit grimmer.
So we can touch instead of feel. Oh, I apologize for playing with your eyes, but I'm obsessed with you. Bite your tongue and smile, stick around a while. I'm obsessed with you. Neurotic, erotic, neurotic, erotic, neurotic, erotic, neurotic, erotic. I'm obsessed with you.
God, I love Aikido. I love Aikido so much. Aikido is the name of an Eastern martial art based on the principle of stopping your opponent without actually hurting them. Wow, I wonder if this could somehow be applied to a relationship. So of course that's what the song's about. It's another softer one, and it's about a narrator being in love with someone who no longer loves him, and how he's dealing with that. Saying things like, bite your tongue and smile, stick around a while, I'm obsessed with you. Asking, hey, please don't leave yet, I really need you, man. And now let's get weird.
Where do you get off? Being so goddamn beautiful. Whoa, Lord.
Where Aikido is a love song, this is a folk song, as Will Wood describes it himself. It is essentially a dude beating it to someone else without them knowing, and it serves as a kind of way of pointing out the weirdness of love, because where it's also about someone being in love with someone without them knowing, and the sort of idea that when you're in love, you're thinking about someone without them knowing or consenting to that, really. And that's kind of, he's taking that principle and putting it in the nature of a different light in the sex terminology, and that makes it seem a lot weirder. And this is evident when he intros it a few times, like at this sidewalk playthrough.
And I made the mistake of playing it for somebody who I met once and telling them it was about them. And they thought it was creepy. But you know what? Love is creepy, man. You know? Thinking about somebody, whether or not they know it or want you to be doing it, it's fucking weird. Don't do that. Ask permission first.
I'll be here singing till my heart beats, I slip back into that rhythm again. Whether it is or it isn't the end, who cares? God knows that I could use a friend. I'm just a little bit crazy about you, just a little bit out of my mind, just a little insane without you. Please come back and be just a little. I'm just a little bit crazy about you.
Cover the song. This one's a breakup song. More about the repercussions of after the breakup. We follow a troubled narrator who has recently gotten out of a relationship that means a lot to him and fixed him in a lot of ways. And now that he's without this person in his life who was making him feel better, now feels empty again, or wishes he could feel empty again, but instead feels sadness for the end of the relationship. It's a softer song that you can definitely pour your heart out to. It's good. Trust me.
Tears pages from spines as she judges the cover and shamelessly spoils the end.
Thermodynamic lawyer ESQ GFD is our first intro to Will Wood's kind of selfish style. This is really one that's going to stick with him, and he's going to bring a lot of these elements to songs like Dr. Sunshine, 2012, Hand Me My Shovel, Song with Five Names. It's stylized very similarly, but as far as the theme goes, it's about a man in a relationship being abused. This is evident with lines such as, makes up excuses for throbbing black bruises and uses them to her advantage, and knocking the pieces the fuck off the chessboard, insisting that she's won the game. And you could make the argument that the chessboard is actually kind of their relationship or representative of an argument they're having, and by getting emotional, knocking the pieces off, she's saying that somehow she's won, and that the narrator has instead hurt her more than she's hurt him, which is a form of abuse and manipulation, but I'm not going to get into all that. But anyways, the narrator uses this abuse and he turns it into hate, with the last lines being, well, it seems that she broke me, but I swear she can go fucking die. There's a bit more than that, but I'm not going to get into it. You can listen and find out for yourself. Red Moon was difficult to explain, so I'm gonna let Will Wood do it. Red Moon, what is anything about that song meaning? If you don't mind indulging us.
Well, here's the thing. I actually think that Red Moon is a perfect example of what's really going on in a lot of my songs. A lot of people, they tend to tie very narrative style, literal interpretations to, especially songs from Selfish. And Red Moon is not more abstract than that record as a whole. It's not more cryptic. It might come across as such, but it's just not. I just don't think that it's listened to as much by the same people, and therefore you don't get those interpretations floating around quite as often. This song is about, I guess, kind of about like the hedonic treadmill, which is like the psychological principle that says that human beings have an emotional baseline that, regardless of their life circumstances, they ultimately return to. The song is abstract and tough to parse as it is because, once again, if I could put it in simple words, the song wouldn't be there. But that song, I think, is really very exemplary of a lot of my writing style. Not all of it, but a lot of it, which is, this is a song that is not intended to tell a story or to be a one-to-one translation for something, but rather to express feelings and abstract thought that I have about just being.
And we're hopeful for tomorrow, cause we know we are today. We're laughing and we're joking with no criticism spoken. When the clouds come out and drown the town, we'll still go out and play. I can feel the hands to hold already. Ooh, I wanna be in a place I can call a place to get away from it all.
Licer Guide Daydream, Licer Guide Daydream. This one is, ooh, this one hurts. This one cuts kind of deep. Licer Guide is LSD, so it's LSD Daydream. I think the reason the song manages to hit so hard is because it is about what you can't have. This song follows the narrator, which you could just say Will Wood in this instance, talking about his ideal life in this fantasy he wants to live with someone where it's just them and he can be himself and he can be free. It's very much like a cottagecore fantasy almost, if you want to use that term. But just the way that it starts to fade away and the things he's hopeful for falls apart while he admits to himself that he could never have that life. And that life is just going to keep sucking. Kind of like how someone going down from LSD would feel. You know, exiting the daydream and entering the real world again. And it hurts, man. It hurts.
My sobriety, I kill two birds with one stone. So if you see me, please check my keys. I don't wanna be walking down the way. We're lining up the house, hit the blackout, started for a new cage, for a broken heart. I try to see the glasses half full, but I'd probably just drink left too.
They say if you have a problem, the first step to healing is gonna be admitting it. And that's what this song is about. It's Will Wood admitting alcoholism, and man, I'm really sorry about the alcoholism, but this song's really good. Like, it's a bop, I'm telling you, this thing goes crazy. But yeah, back about the actual theme of the song. The tagline of the song should really be enough.
I try to see the glasses half full, but I'd probably just drink left too. But I'll tell you what, I'm not afraid to die. I'm more afraid of what might happen first. Either way, it's not like we'll get out alive. I can't say that I know which one is worse. Everything's useless, especially songs. I think the truth is that everyone's wrong. Still sing along, long time.
Jimmy Mushroom's Last Drink, Bedtime in Wayne, New Jersey. Fuck. Jimmy Mushroom's Last Drink, Bedtime in Wayne, New Jersey. So for this song's genre roulette, Will Wood picked Margaritaville. It's a strange approach, so if you're looking for something kind of experimental, this is definitely a place. I mean, you're listening to a Will Wood album, pretty much every song is experimental, but this one's just interesting. I don't really have much to say about it. The story follows Jimmy Mushroom going out to drink with his friends and they encourage him to keep going, and when he drives home, he gets in a car accident and dies, hence Jimmy Mushroom's Last Drink. Jimmy Mushroom is a character in, I think, like a comic from Will Wood, but yeah, that's about all I have to say on that song.
I know it's pothead playing with matches. I run spot, I'm old with my hands on a cactus. My mouth is dry and my eyes are red. I'm chewing on sand 'cause the desert's in my head. My eyes are taking action. My eyes are gaining traction. My eyes, no more distractions. I'm done relaxing. I am the chemical reaction.
Chemical reaction / compound fracture. This is another one that was really hard to pin for me, and I couldn't really get a good grasp of what it was supposed to mean, but from what I've gathered from the music video, it's kind of a normal guy getting high, or something like of that nature. I can't really describe it, and I'm sorry about that, guys.
All that you feel is only real if you decide it inside. So when you're holding on to everything but you feel you cannot let it go. 'Cause
Everything's a Lot, last song of the album. This one, it's nice. The first few minutes are actually no words, no lyrics, anything, no song. It's just subway noises. A subway coming into the station, telling you to leave, saying, hey, I'm glad you enjoyed the album, and I hope you stop by again, but this is where you get off. And when the lyrics start to play, they're very epilotic. They sound like they're telling you, hey, that's it, man. We'll see you around. And then it fades off, and this is where two different things happen depending on which version you're listening to. If you're listening to the remaster of the album, it's going to go to the next song, which is Destroy to Enjoy. If not, then it's just going to keep playing, and all that he did was split the song up in two, so it'll be the same experience, really. Destroy to Enjoy has about 3 minutes of silence and then super ominous chant. If you listen to the chants, it's a lot about Eastern cultures, Buddhism, stuff like that, and it seems to be about cultural appropriation, taking things from other cultures and destroying like a lot of the important aspects and taking what you want to enjoy, like yin yang tattoos, stuff like that. Destroy to Enjoy, you know? It's a bop, even if most of it is just weird, ominous silence. So yeah, that was Everything's a Lot. Really, all in all, definitely a 10 out of 10 album. It's got something in here for absolutely everyone, and I refuse to believe that you're an exception. If I had to pick a favorite, it'd be really close neck between 6 Up 5-0 and the two really, in my mind, softest songs of the album, Aikido and Bones / Skeleton Appreciation Day in Vestal, New York. Please give the full album a listen. Someone said I didn't pick the best parts of the music for my last video, so I might be doing the songs, like, I might not be doing them justice, so check them out for yourself.
No, I won't come back and be the same. Well, you can only be the story by the side of sanatory, and it's only a story I can tell a purgatory. I said, once I lost it, can there be a
Yo! Ah!
No, it doesn't matter who I am.
And now Selfish, Will Wood's most popular album by quite a good margin. It released in 2016 with smash hits such as Hand Me My Shovel, I'm Going In, and Dr. Sunshine Is Dead, his best performing piece by far. This album is gonna be what most people mean when they say Will Wood. And I'll stop blabbing about it and just get right into it.
No, I won't come back and be the same. No, I won't come back and be the same.
Self is about the self, unsurprisingly. Lines like, I'll shake the apples from the family tree, saying I'm separating from my family and I'm going off to be myself. I won't come back and be the same. Fairly evident that he's taking a step back from his family or what he's supposed to be and embracing his self. It's a really nice intro, not what I expected. It really got me hungry for what the rest of the album's gonna have to offer.
But I don't remember when I forgot myself. I don't remember 2012. I don't remember when I forgot myself. I don't remember 2012. I don't remember 2012. I don't remember wow, the whole year's a blur.
This album starts off jazzy as fuck. I didn't expect this after Self, but god do I love it. 2012 is easily one of my top 5 Will Wood songs. This one is insane. It's like my favorite parts of his fast, jazzy style all rolled into one. It's amazing. It's really just music you can get lost in. Speaking of getting lost in music, that's what Will Wood did in 2012, except instead of music, it was a large amount of consumables. Yeah, that's what the song is about. It's about how he genuinely does not remember 2012, but he has since recovered. Sorry you missed out on 2012. Thank you for making the song, though. Really good. And to be fair, even though Will Wood forgot all of 2012, all of us forgot Avatar from the same year. Name one character from that movie. You cannot name one
Finn
character from
then
that
proceeded
movie.
to rant about James Cameron's Avatar for 2 minutes.
Next up, Cotard's Solution, a song about suicide. Kind of, maybe. How to describe Cotard's syndrome? Well, I guess if I had to put it into words, people with Cotard's syndrome, also called walking corpse syndrome or Cotard's delusion, believe that parts of their body are missing or that they are dying, dead, or don't exist. They may think nothing exists. Cotard's syndrome is rare, with about 200 known cases worldwide. Basically, songs about dissociation, believing you're not inside you. And you could make the argument that the dissociation is so bad, the line, "I want to make my murder look like a suicide," means that you are so far apart from what you think you are, that if you killed yourself and you killed your body, it would not be a suicide because what is in you isn't you. You feel? This next one's called Mr. Crapgrass Encounters a Secondhand Vanity, Tulpamancer's prosopagnosia / pareidolia, as a direct result of trauma to the pisiform gyrus. This is the worst Will Wood song name because if I want my Alexa to play it, I gotta go through all that, and there's no way that that device is gonna understand more than 3 words. No, turn off. No. Capgras delusion is the opposite of Cotard's, whereas Cotard's is believing there's someone else in you and there's something else in the body. Capgras is believing that one of your friends has been killed and replaced with an imposter, or their body has been entered by an imposter, something like that. But the song is still about dissociation. Just the title's actually enough to learn this. A tulpamancer is someone who deals in tulpamances, thought forms, thought of to have independent ideas and actions, like personalities in your head. And prosopagnosia, I think that's how you say it, is really just when you have face blindness, which could be considered identity blindness when you combine that with tulpamancer. And pareidolia is incorrectly recognizing faces where there's none. So that's even more credit for this sort of identity blindness idea that the song might be trying to put across. But I don't know, I'm just guessing at this point. Or am I? The fusiform gyrus is actually the part of your brain that controls faces, how you remember them and stuff. I don't know if I'm wrong or not. And when I asked Will about the title, he told me that he liked making people Google things, which he definitely did. But he also said one of my favorite things about a song I've ever heard in my life, that this song should be looked at as a neurological problem, which is amazing. That is my senior quote right there. Not sure what song though, the song should be, yeah, I guess that wouldn't really fit. The song with 5 names, aka Soapbox Tau, aka Checkmate Atheist, aka Neo Space Government, aka You Can Never Know, featuring Alex Noth, is a banger. Another song with a ridiculous name, this one really feeds into the jazz hard rock style, and it works. It's possible that this song refers to digging in a hole and digging yourself deeper in conversation with someone and not apologizing and not taking back what you said, so you're just digging yourself deeper in this hole and you're not willing to leave. because apologizing is hard.
Looking up, I could say, heaven sent to me, hand me my shovel, I'm going in. Looking up, we see the point of entry between where we are and we've been. Looking down, I could say, heaven sent me, hand me my shovel, I'm going in.
Hand Me My Shovel, I'm Going In is definitely about what I said the last song might have been about. The song is basically about intentionally trying to hit rock bottom until you need to change. Because the narrator believes that unless he hits this point where he has no choice but to change, he can't change or he won't be willing. This song is one of the best performing Will Wood songs for a reason, and it's one of my friend's favorite songs from him, so enjoy. Dr. Sunshine is Dead is his most popular work, and Will Wood doesn't even like it.
But I'll probably ignore you. I can't tell you how often somebody shouts out the name of a song, and it's never the song I want to play. It's always the song that I hate the most. It's called Dr. Sunshine is Dead. That's the one that I hate.
That's a joke. In the interview, he said it's actually his favorite to play. But this one's hard for me. I know this is the biggest song, so this might get me some negative comments, but it's not my favorite. It's definitely a good song, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there are other Will Wood songs that might deserve the #1 spot a bit more. I mean, I believe all of Will Wood's songs should have at least as much recognition as that one, but I think you understand what I mean.
And I am the truths that I create. And so when my matter takes that stand, no, it doesn't matter who I am.
And last is Ish. Whereas Self was proclamations and saying, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Ish is actually told almost entirely through questions until about halfway through. It's just questions and questioning himself and the things he's been doing until the end when the music starts to swell and he says he's not gonna come back and be the same. He's gonna be, and then it stops. He doesn't tell us who he's gonna be. He doesn't even say he's gonna be himself. He doesn't know what's gonna happen next. He doesn't know what his next journey is gonna be. And that's really cool and a really, really good way to end the album. It's a really nice way to keep us on our toes. We don't know what he's gonna do next or what he's gonna be. It literally gives me goosebumps to listen to. Please listen to it in full. Selfish is an amazing album with all of the songs being a new and unique experience. Really, it's one of his best performing albums for a reason, and you should definitely check it out. No doubt you'll find something in there that you'll love. Hello girls, boys, neithers, boths, and in between. I am joined here today by the one and only real Will Wood. Pleasure to have you here. I do have a few questions pertaining to the video that you, the audience, just watched. And I wanted to start with one that was a little more meta. How do you feel about the death of the author in the way that someone else can take your work and do what they will with it? And I know that most artists sort of give this spiel about how like, oh, you can interpret it how you want. However, seeing the response to I, Me, Myself in certain groups taking that to weird places, I felt you might have a different take on it.
I wouldn't say that I have a different take on it. No, I do still acknowledge that all art is subjective and open to interpretation. And whatever you take from a piece of media, whatever is most meaningful to you is what becomes the most meaningful thing. Because I'm just one person. You could almost think of it as being like information can at times be sort of a democracy in a sense, where the meaning of something is defined by what people agree on it meaning. That goes for words, for various cultural symbols, for pieces of art. So, I still I tend to think that my vote, so to speak, counts a little bit more than the average listener. But at the same time, I recognize that outside of what I say about a song or how I define it based on its context within the rest of my career, you know, that's it's only I only have so much control over it. As soon as you put something out there, as soon as you put yourself out there as an artist, who you are becomes sort of public domain. But there are always exceptions, and there are always moments where I find it immensely frustrating. So with I, Me, Myself, for instance, I had to look up what transmedicalist meant. I don't know anything about that stuff. I only, you know, I wrote that song about my own experiences and my own feelings. And any amount of poking fun or criticism it has in that song is toward myself and other people who might have needed to hear what I needed to hear at that time. To kind of go like, you know, wake up, man, we're, you know, or whatever you are, wake up, human being. You're gonna drive yourself crazy if you keep going crazy over trying to define yourself, as Alan Watts says, is like trying to bite your own teeth. And if you allow yourself to become too consumed with your own vision of yourself, that can destroy you. I mean, I wrote a whole record about that. I know that people hear that song in the context of like, this is about trans issues, and it never really was. And that's not even like the main point of the song. The main point of the song is my feelings toward the male gender role and how that limits me emotionally and how badly I want to escape that. I can't look, if I could sum it up easily in normal words, there wouldn't be a song.
Yeah.
So, but that's neither here nor there. That's just, you know, that's just one example. I've heard all kinds of crazy things about my work, and some of it, yeah, I find immensely frustrating because it leads to me being interpreted in ways that are at times borderline offensive. When all is said and done, what matters is what people get out of it and how they're moved by it. And so to a certain extent, when I see myself being interpreted in a way that bothers me, part of me goes, fuck you guys, get your shit together. But then also part of me goes, well, them's the breaks. And then another part of me goes, okay, how can I use this to learn how to better communicate myself in the future? You know, and so, you know, I think that it's something that every artist grapples with now and again, but I think it happens more to people who whose work can be a bit more abstract and a bit more on the cryptic side at times, because I definitely leave a lot of things open to interpretation. My point is, death of the author sucks, but it's part of the process, and sometimes letting the author die is what lets the piece of art live.
Wow, that was a really good like sum up answer.
Yeah, but at the same time, that last phrasing, getting all lofty there for a second, I hope that that's not the only thing people glom onto when they hear what I just said, because also fuck you if you think Aikido's about necrophagists.
You once said that you don't have a personality but an aesthetic, and that kind of makes me wonder, what is the next Will Wood aesthetic? Are we keeping with the normal album sort of doo-wop stylings? Is there a chance we'll return to the trippiness of the 2015, 2016? At
the time, very involved in this self-creating persona act, this sort of, I'm going to develop this public persona that is as much a part of the art as the art is itself. And it was a lot of fun at times. And part of the effort that went into that was trying to strike a balance between being brutally honest and overly vulnerable in inappropriate situations, while also being, incomprehensible and incorrigible at the same time. And so there's videos of me floating around where I'm, flicking water in interviewers' faces and putting my feet up on their desks and yelling at people and talking about, all kinds of shit, and lying about having a daughter. It was there was a lot of stuff I was doing during that point of time in my life that was very much a contrived persona. And so I don't remember exactly what I meant when I said that, because it was in a context of I am simultaneously being a character and being intentionally too personal with an interviewer. Getting back to your question, I totally zeroed in on a part of it that was not the point. It's not really a conscious decision all the time. Some of it is instinctive. So even when I'm talking about this period of time in my career where I was making conscious decisions to be both incomprehensible and way too personal, even that was at many points just instinct. Just it felt like, yeah, this is what I do. And so when sardonic, tongue-in-cheek doo-wop Will Wood came along, well, that's just what felt right. That's just what kind of came to me. But at the same time, I do think it's a slightly more honest reflection of who I am as a person, as an actual human being behind the persona. I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going here. I guess what I'm thinking to myself is, I don't know if the next Will Wood aesthetic is going to be an aesthetic or if it's just going to be me. I really don't know. Partially because I can't really predict it. Partially because I don't really have a control over. I don't really have final say over how the aesthetic is interpreted, and therefore I don't actually have that much control over what the aesthetic really, in essence, is. I can only make efforts to communicate something. And I also don't know whether or not when the time comes, I'm going to actively feel an instinctive urge to try and manipulate or control my public persona. I'm starting to gravitate towards, no, I don't know if I want to put on an act anymore. But at the same time, can you not? Is it possible to go out on stage and not put on an act? Is it possible to do an interview and not be putting on somewhat of an act? There's always going to be a performative element, and so it's weird. I guess I do kind of find myself gravitating towards the idea of trying my damnedest to be the most honest version of myself possible. I don't know. I'm losing my train of thought over and over. I hope I'm not rambling too much.
No, you are completely
My point is,
okay, I promise. So, you seem to have, at least during the production of these albums, a very strong interest and passion for psychology. Just the name Mr. Capgrass alone, I had to Google like 30 definitions. And from what I've seen from your live streams and stuff, often you just use these terms in normal conversation. So did you take some sort of like college classes for this, or did you just like self-learn this stuff because it was something you were interested in?
I guess the latter. I feel like I probably took a couple. Yeah, I took a couple psychology courses in college, I'm pretty sure. I don't really remember college, but yeah, I definitely took a few classes, but I'd say most of the stuff that I put into my music is stuff that I've just kind of accrued over the years from just my own personal interest in that kind of thing. I glom on to little bits of information about psychology and Eastern philosophy and stuff like that, and I get a kick out of it. I get a real big kick out of it, and I like making people Google things. Because if you put something in there that makes somebody go, what the fuck does that mean? I want to go look that up. Then that forces people to start thinking about what you mean, and start examining the lyrics a bit more. So I like putting, weird, obscure, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, just I like putting strange and obscure references in my music, and I like utilizing these bits of psychology either as a joke or as a metaphor or as just an extra piece of defining information when it comes to creating a work of art. So like, for instance, Mr. Capgrass, that title there is no Mr. Capgrass. There isn't a character. There's no character in Selfish. It's not a narrative. There aren't any people being talked about. Mr. Capgrass is just a series. That title is a series of words and phrases that are intended to invoke concepts that might not otherwise be noticed in the lyrics, or might be somewhat noticed but might not be brought into such detail, or might it's vibe setting. So when I talk about the Capgrass delusion and prosopagnosia and all that other shit, what I'm saying is I want people to try and look at that song through a clinical lens, through a lens of this song is I want people to see it and feel like this is a medical problem. This song is a neurological problem. This song is hard science, or at least soft science that should be treated like hard science. This song is something to explore, something that I should be thinking about, and it should be done through the same lens that perhaps a psychological clinician might approach a diagnosis of the Capgrass delusion.
This is actually where I reveal that this is all a trap. There's no interview. I actually just got you here so I could personally ask you, why are there 2 Ks, and thank you for the dialectics. This is it.
Whenever somebody asks me, I like to say that if I tell you, it stops working. And it's the same answer I would give whenever anybody asked me why I would go on stage with an eye on my forehead and stuff like that. It's a lot more fun if people keep asking why.
So
Right.
I am sorry to do this next one to you. I am going to ask the favorite child. Just 3 different sort of questions. What is your favorite song to perform? What song is most personal to you? And what song are you tired of performing? What song do you just not really even like touching anymore?
Of all the songs I've released, I would say the song that means the most to me is Well, Better Than the Alternative. That song is, out of my whole discography, I think my best one. It's very personal to me. The process of writing that song was daunting. It was scary because I wanted to put out there some deep-seated and troubling feelings that I was afraid to show. There have been a lot of songs that I have put out where it's like, it's layered in enough incredulity and absurdity where I can say whatever I want. I can scream whatever demons out that I want, and nobody's going to know what I'm talking about anyway. But with a song like that, I was so desperate to get out these feelings that had been, for lack of a less dramatic word, haunting me since my childhood, that I decided I would take a leap. And since then, I've kind of believed that a lot of, if not, no, a lot of, maybe most of, the best art happens when you decide to express something that you're afraid to express.
Most fun song to perform. Gonna quickly change up the
There we go. Yeah,
pacing.
It depends. It depends on if I'm with the band or if I am solo, and it depends on the instrument I'm playing it on, and if I'm playing it on guitar or ukulele or piano. And it also just kind of depends on my mood. Usually with the band, I do have a lot of fun playing Dr. Sunshine is Dead, but that's also at the same time the answer to the other question that you have left. So like that's kind of like a weird position I'm in. But it's the perfect amount of challenging to play and easy to play at the same time, where I tend to really get in the zone with that one. I have a lot of fun with it. And that, to answer your last question, Cotard's Solution.
Really?
Yeah. Can't fucking stand playing that song. We don't play it. We don't play it. I don't think the band and I have played Cotard's Solution in 3 years. Even if we had been playing shows every night since 2016, I can't imagine I don't think I'd be able to tolerate playing Cotard's Solution more than once in a blue moon. I know people like that one.
Segue.
Yeah.
When doing the review for this album, naming Everything Is a Lot, there were 2 songs that I actually struggled to find the sort of meaning in, and I thought other people were struggling to find the meaning in because it was very scarce. And one of those was Red Moon. So Red Moon, what is anything about that song meaning?
I can talk about the hedonic treadmill and everything I just said, but that's still just, I don't know, my own interpretation of a certain element of it. It's like abstract or surreal art. It doesn't necessarily mean something. It's not necessarily a, it's not a secret message to decode. It's an abstract painting. I'm just playing with colors.
So I'm going to ask you one of your own questions, actually. This is one you proposed a little bit ago. And I think back then you didn't know the answer. However, now you've had some experiences that might help you lead you to the answer. So is it courageous or is it escapist to leave the quarantine when you're contagious?
Oh, good Lord. That's funny. It's very funny. In a literal sense, right now, stay at home. If you must leave, put a mask on. But in a figurative sense, cost analysis, weighing out the pros and cons of any given circumstance. Why are you quarantining? How contagious are you, and what kind of contagious are you? In what ways will your dysfunction affect those around you if you stop hiding and you start expressing yourself honestly? If you put yourself out there, in what ways will it affect people? Consider all that stuff. Personally, I tend to lean towards a fuck it, but at the same time, if you put yourself out there and try to express yourself in the most honest and outward way possible, it might be a brave thing to do, or it might be something that you're doing to try and get away from norms, to try and subvert or defy them. Are you trying to shed the things that make you are you trying to shed the things that you hold on to in order to keep you from being contagious or hurting people around you with your dysfunction or your strangeness or whatever? Are you trying to shed that stuff so you can be more honest and live freely? Or are you trying to, shake people out of, their ideas? Are you running from something by doing that? Are you, how honest is this? I don't know. That song, that lyric, I feel like, I guess, and the more I think about it, the more abstract it might be than it may appear on first glance.
Oh, absolutely.
So I don't really know. I
hadn't even thought about that way of thought about it. That was I already love me normally, so now I'm rethinking every lyric in my head as I'm talking.
Oh, right on.
So I guess this reaches our last question. Do you have another record or EP planned, and when/can we expect something new from Will Wood?
So I'm currently in the process of trying to set up an Indiegogo campaign to fund my next record. And I have, this one is in between now and then. I'm going to be putting out a little soundtrack that I did. And hopefully that won't distract from the, the more personal creative endeavor I'm trying to undertake. The soundtrack I'm putting out is mostly instrumental stuff with a couple of songs in there. But my next full-length real album, it's one that is, I'm nervous about it. Because, I'm sure I can raise the money. But, I'd really be putting myself out there with this next one.
In the sort of way
a lot of the stuff
the
that
alternative?
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I've been writing since then has been a lot more of that vein, has been a lot more personal, and a lot more rooted in in a genuine expression of my dysfunction and my issues and all that shit. And it deals a lot with the horror of being known, but simultaneously the horror of being unknown or known wrong, about the death of the author, about all of these things that I've started to really discover since the Normal album came out. So a lot of it deals with that kind of thing. And some of these songs are a bit harsh, and others of them are a bit vulnerable. And part of me thinks that will make it my best album yet. But if so, it'll be by my standards. I don't know if my general fan base will agree, because a lot of people, they see me as spooky piano man, evil jazz guy, and I don't think that they would necessarily expect or be ready for or want to see the person behind the mask. And so, I'm really putting myself out there with this kind of thing. It's a lot of material about, grappling with publicity, dealing with relationships, and just what goes on inside my head on a regular basis, in a much more honest lens. And there isn't as much, there's no like crazy medical terminology. There's no screaming and hollering about Buddhism and suicide. There's no, there might be some like minor harmonic songs in there, but for the most part, it's a lot of, I guess I'm kind of trying to do the opposite of what I've done with a lot of my material, whereas my material in the past has been a lot of me trying to turn avant-garde music into pop music, whereas nowadays I think I'm kind of doing more like turning pop music into avant-garde music. But it's not that, don't get the wrong idea. It's not a pop record, but it's closer to more like the anti-folk that defined a lot of everything as a lot. But it's a little nerve-wracking, but I wanted to get all these feelings out there and redefine myself in a way that kind of challenged people's preconceived notions about me and showed me for who I am, and that is just a guy who makes music. I'm not the gay space vampire David Bowie Tom Waits character. I'm not I'm not the dude from the Chemical Overreaction music video. I am this guy. And
holy shit!
I
found the real Will Wood.
Oh,
I'm sorry, you set yourself up too much.
No, you're right. You're right. But yeah, I think I'm rambling at this point, but for the most part, this it's a nerve-wracking task because it's something that will really be putting me out there, really opening myself up to rejection from my audience. But I don't think it's any worse to sell out to a record label than it is to sell out to your fans. I think that expressing yourself honestly is an artist's first job, and at least is my first priority. Everything else comes secondary, whether it's money or good PR or whatever. That's what comes first, and that does come at a cost, but it's a cost that I really feel like I need to pay this time around, because I need to get myself out there. I need to actually express myself and not just this version of me that's been co-opted by people and turned into a symbol for something that I don't even understand. So yeah, I'm desperate to get this thing out. I'm desperate to produce this album, and I want to get it out as soon as possible. And it's full of confessions and is very vulnerable and raw and honest. And so I'm calling it In Case I Die. You heard it here first, folks.
Really?
New Willwood album, hopefully coming soon. Hopefully going to be announcing it for serious within the next couple months, trying to raise the money, and I'll be calling it In Case I Die.
Why, thank you very much, Mr. Willwood, everybody. It's such a pleasure having you here, and so stoked to meet you, man. That's about
back
it.
at you, man. It's been a real pleasure.